You ask questions, and I answer them.
Are you guys nuts? What am I talking about? It's super cool because of the gentle design.
Boom, watch fam.
What is up, Watch fam? Welcome to episode 67 of Ask TNH. I had a party last night, and I graduated a couple weeks ago. So, well, this is when I'm recording, obviously. It's not when it's being aired. Not last night when you're seeing it, last night when I'm recording. So, we have a tent. It's my day. Let's get into the questions. All right, let's do this. Christian, should I stay far away from polishing on vintage Rolexes? Really hard to make a blanket statement there, so I'm not going to make one. It's dangerous to make blanket statements when it comes to stuff like this because I can deprave you of a great watch and I can make you spend way too much money on a watch you're not going to necessarily appreciate, right? So obviously Rolex came out with, dozens and dozens of different references throughout the years. So you break it down easily into sport and dress, right? So like dress watches, you would go with a Datejust, like 1601, like I have one today, or like an 1803 Datejust, which we can throw a photo on, like right here. So those watches were, pretty often polished. Why? Because they were supposed to be really like dress-up watches, right? Like neat, clean, just not really worn. They were supposed to be kind of just, fresh, shiny. So every couple of years when someone would send it in for service and they said, you want to give it a polishing? They would think of it like the same mentality with their shoes and they'd say, yes, of course I want it polished. So stuff like that, you really can't go too nuts. Most of the dress Rolexes that weren't polished weren't really worn all that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some, but a lot of them really weren't worn, right? So that's a super, fresh and expensive watch because not only is it unpolished, but it's not even dinged up, and it's just, pretty much farm fresh. This example that I'm wearing today is unpolished. The lug is totally sharp. It really does look beautiful. It adds to like a kind of a beefier, more defined look. And it is, in the world of vintage Rolex, better than a polished case, for sure. My personal Datejust has light polishing. Not ashamed of it. I wish it didn't a little bit, but I don't really care all that much. Whereas with like a sports Rolex, like a 1680 or a 5513 or any Submariner or anything like that, right? Especially the really old ones, 6538. The whole point, right, was to have a little bit of beatenness, a little bit of wear. The whole point was to say, yeah, I took this watch, to the Galapagos Islands, or I took this watch to wherever, and it got beat up and it served me as a tool. It's not supposed to be, a fresh, fancy dress watch. When I see a polished sub, like that's just too polished, if it's shiny, right? If the lug is kind of just like dull and shiny, I'm staying far away. It's just not where I want my lugs or my case, right? I just think it looks just cheap almost. It looks like it's been abused by somebody. But, if you're not someone who really cares about that, then I 110% recommend you do buy one that has a polished lug and case. Because, you're going to pay a lot less and you're going to get exactly what you want. You're going to get a Rolex sub. There's no shame in that. But don't think because other people, want you to do an unpolished watch that you have to. It's ridiculous. Find out what you value in a polished or unpolished case and follow that. So for me personally, it bothers me a lot more in sports watches than it does in dress. But that's it. So, that's my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching episode 67 of Ask TNH. Head over to theoharris.com right now and read this week's content. I'm sure we put some awesome stuff out. Apart from that, subscribe on YouTube, etc., etc., etc. Thank you for watching.